The woman who rejected her own blood. The House of Silence. The mansion stood quietly in the heart of Beverly Hills, its glass walls shining under the soft California sun. From the outside, it looked like a dream home, luxurious, perfect, untouchable. Inside, however, silence lived like a ghost. Marcus Johnson sat in his private office upstairs, scrolling through emails on his tablet. At 42, he was a successful real estate mogul, known in Los Angeles for his intelligence and calm personality. His wife, Naomi Johnson, worked as a senior architect in a prestigious firm downtown. Together, they had built a beautiful life. And then there were their children. 8-year-old Maya and 6-year-old Jordan were the heartbeat of the house. Their laughter often echoed through the marble halls, filling the cold luxury with warmth. But there was one person in the house who never smiled at their laughter. Marcus's mother, Eleanor Johnson. She had moved into their mansion 2 years earlier after her husband died. Marcus believed bringing her closer was the right thing to do. After all, she was his mother. Family should stay together, he believed. But Eleanor never saw Maya and Jordan as family. She never hugged them, never called them by their names, never joined them at dinner. Instead, she watched them with cold eyes, like strangers who had invaded her space. Sometimes, when Naomi wasn't around, Eleanor whispered words that made the children afraid. "You are not my grandchildren," she once told them quietly. Maya had asked innocently, "Then who are we?" Eleanor's lips had tightened. Nothing. The children never told their parents. They were too young to understand hatred, but old enough to feel it. That afternoon, rain clouds gathered in the sky, heavy and dark. And something terrible was about to happen. The rain started suddenly. Thick drops crashed against the glass windows of the mansion, turning the sky gray. The wind howled like a warning. Inside the house, Maya and Jordan were in the living room, watching cartoons. Their backpacks lay near the couch. They had just returned from school early because of the weather. Eleanor stood by the staircase, watching them. Her eyes were sharp, her face expressionless. "Maya," she called. Maya looked up, surprised. "Yes, ma'am." "Come here," Eleanor said. Jordan followed his sister nervously. He didn't like being near their grandmother. She never smiled. Eleanor walked toward the front door. "Go outside," she said calmly. Maya frowned. "Outside? But it's raining." Eleanor opened the door. Cold wind rushed into the mansion, blowing rain onto the marble floor. "I said go outside," Eleanor repeated, her voice harder now. Jordan's eyes filled with tears. "Grandma, please." Eleanor bent slightly and looked straight into his eyes. "I am not your grandmother," she said slowly. The words cut deeper than the rain. Before the children could react, Eleanor gently pushed them outside, not violently, but firmly, and shut the door. Click. The lock turned. Outside, rain soaked their clothes within seconds. Maya held Jordan's hand tightly as thunder roared above them. They knocked on the door. "Grandma, please open the door." No answer. Inside, Eleanor walked away as if nothing had happened. Minutes passed. The rain became heavier. The children's voices became weaker. And the mansion remained silent. At exactly 6:42 p.m., a black luxury SUV drove into the mansion's driveway. Marcus and Naomi had just returned from work. Naomi sighed tiredly as she removed her seatbelt. "Today was exhausting," she said. Marcus smiled slightly. "At least we'll see the kids." They stepped out of the car. The rain was still falling. Then Naomi froze. "Marcus," she whispered. Marcus followed her gaze. Near the front door, two small figures stood shivering under the rain. Maya and Jordan. Soaked. Cold. Scared. Marcus dropped his car keys. Naomi ran forward. "My babies." She wrapped her arms around them tightly, her voice trembling. "What happened? Why are you outside?" Maya burst into tears. "Grandma locked us out." Marcus felt his chest tighten. "What?" he asked, disbelief in his voice. Jordan sniffed. She said she is not our grandmother. Naomi's hands shook as she held them. Marcus slowly turned toward the mansion. His face changed. The calm man disappeared. In his place stood a son who had just realized something painful. He pushed the door open and walked inside. Eleanor sat calmly on the sofa, sipping tea as if nothing had happened. Marcus stood in front of her. "Mom," he said quietly, but his voice carried thunder, "why were my children outside in the rain?" Eleanor looked up slowly. Her eyes were cold. And what she said next would change their family forever. Marcus stood before his mother like a stranger. The living room was quiet except for the sound of rain hitting the glass windows. Eleanor Johnson sat upright on the leather sofa, her posture calm, her expression unreadable. "Why were my children outside in the rain?" Marcus repeated. Naomi stood behind him, holding Maya and Jordan close. Her heart was still pounding. She could feel the children trembling in her arms. Eleanor slowly placed her teacup on the glass table. "They should learn their place," she said calmly. Marcus stared at her. "Their place." Eleanor crossed her arms. "This house is not theirs." Naomi gasped. "What did you just say?" Eleanor turned her eyes toward Naomi. "You heard me." Marcus felt anger rising in his chest like fire. "Mom, they are my children." Eleanor's lips curved into a faint smile that held no warmth. "They are not my grandchildren," she said. The words fell like stones. Naomi felt as if someone had slapped her. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice shaking. Eleanor stood up slowly. "For years," she said, walking toward the window, "I have watched this family change. I watched my son choose a woman I never approved of. I watched him bring children into this house that do not carry my blood the way I wanted." Marcus clenched his fists. "They carry my blood." Eleanor turned sharply. "Blood is not always enough," she said. The room felt colder. Naomi gently led the children upstairs. "Go to your room," she told them softly. "Take a warm shower. Mommy will come soon." Maya hesitated. "Mommy, is Grandma angry with us?" Naomi forced a smile. "No, baby. You did nothing wrong." But inside, her heart was burning. When the children left, Naomi returned downstairs. Her eyes were no longer gentle. They were sharp. She walked toward Eleanor. "I have tolerated your silence, your coldness, your disrespect," Naomi said. "But today you crossed a line." Eleanor looked at her without fear. "This is my son's house," Eleanor said. Naomi laughed bitterly. "No, this is our house. Marcus and I built this together." Marcus stepped between them. "Enough," he said firmly. He looked at his mother. "Mom," he said, his voice low, "if you ever do anything like this again, you will not stay in this house." Eleanor's eyes widened slightly. For the first time, she looked shocked. "Are you threatening me?" she asked. Marcus nodded slowly. "I am protecting my children." Silence filled the mansion. And in that silence, Eleanor realized something she never expected. Her son was no longer under her control. That night, Naomi couldn't sleep. She sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the wall. Marcus lay beside her, but his mind was far away. "Marcus," Naomi whispered. "Yes. Your mother hates our children." Marcus sighed deeply. "I know." Naomi turned toward him. "But why?" Marcus hesitated. There was something he had never told Naomi. Something from his past. "Because," he said slowly, "my mother never wanted me to marry you." Naomi frowned. "I know that. But this is more than that." Marcus sat up. "There is something else," he said. Naomi looked at him. "What?" Marcus swallowed hard. "My mother once told me something strange years ago," he said. "She said, if I ever married outside the woman she chose for me, she would never accept my children." Naomi felt chills. You never told me this, she said. Marcus nodded. I thought she was joking. But now, he realized she wasn't. And somewhere in the mansion, Eleanor sat alone in her room, staring at an old photograph in her hands. A young woman stood beside Marcus in the picture. Her eyes looked exactly like Maya's. Eleanor whispered softly, "This should have been your children, not hers." And in that moment, a dark plan began to form in her mind. The next morning, the mansion looked peaceful again. But peace was only an illusion. Marcus was in his office when his phone rang. Unknown number. He hesitated, then answered. "Hello." A soft female voice responded. "Marcus, it's me." Marcus froze. He knew that voice. "Danielle," he whispered. Danielle Carter. The woman his mother had chosen for him years ago. The woman he had loved once, before Naomi. "How did you get my number?" Marcus asked. Danielle laughed softly. "Your mother gave it to me." Marcus felt his chest tighten. "Why are you calling me?" he asked. Danielle paused. "I'm back in Los Angeles," she said. "And your mother said it's time we talk." Marcus ended the call slowly. He stared at his phone. He felt like the past had just knocked on his door, and he didn't know whether to open it or run away. That evening, Eleanor sat with Marcus in the dining room. Naomi watched from a distance. "Marcus," Eleanor said calmly, "I invited someone to dinner tomorrow." Marcus frowned. "Who?" Eleanor smiled. "Someone who should have been your wife." Naomi felt her heart drop. Marcus stood up abruptly. "Mom, what are you doing?" he asked. Eleanor looked at him firmly. "I am correcting my mistake," she said. Naomi stepped forward. "This is my house," she said coldly. "And no woman will come here to disrespect my family." Eleanor turned toward her slowly. "Then prepare for war," she said. And in that moment, Naomi understood something terrifying. This was no longer just family conflict. It was a battle for Marcus, for the children, and for the future of their family. The next evening, the mansion glowed under golden lights. Crystal chandeliers shimmered above the dining table, decorated with expensive silverware and fresh white roses. Everything looked perfect. But Naomi's heart was not. She stood in the kitchen, adjusting the sleeves of her elegant black dress. Her reflection in the mirror looked calm, but her eyes revealed storm. "Mommy," Maya whispered from the doorway. "Is someone coming?" Naomi bent down and touched her daughter's cheek. "Yes, sweetheart." "Who?" Naomi hesitated. "A guest," she said softly. Maya nodded slowly, but she felt something strange in the air. Moments later, the front door opened. Marcus stood near the staircase when he heard footsteps. Then he saw her. Danielle Carter walked into the mansion. She was tall, elegant, and confident. Her long brown hair flowed over her shoulders, and her designer dress hugged her perfectly. She looked like someone who belonged in luxury magazines. Eleanor stood beside her proudly. "Welcome home," Eleanor said with a smile. Marcus felt his stomach twist. Naomi stepped forward. Their eyes met. Two women. One man. One battlefield. "Good evening," Danielle said politely. "It's been a long time, Marcus." Marcus forced a smile. "Yes, it has." Naomi crossed her arms. "And you are?" she asked calmly, though her voice was sharp. Danielle turned to her with a gentle smile. "I'm Danielle," she said. "An old friend of Marcus." Naomi nodded slowly. "Welcome to our home," she said. Her tone made it clear. This was not Danielle's home. Dinner began. Everyone sat around the long dining table. Marcus sat between Naomi and Eleanor. Danielle sat beside Eleanor. Maya and Jordan sat quietly across the table. Danielle looked at them with curiosity. "They're beautiful," she said softly. Naomi's fingers tightened around her fork. "Thank you," she replied. Danielle smiled at the children. What are your names? Maya looked at Naomi before answering. I'm Maya. Jordan whispered. Jordan. Danielle nodded slowly. They look so much like Marcus, she said. Eleanor smiled proudly. Yes, she said. But looks can be deceiving. The room froze. Marcus frowned. Mom, what do you mean? Eleanor lifted her glass calmly. Nothing, she said. Just a thought. Naomi felt a chill run through her body. That night, after dinner, Maya pulled Naomi aside. Mommy, she whispered. Why did Grandma bring that lady? Naomi knelt beside her. Sometimes, she said gently, people from the past come back. Maya frowned. Does she want to be our mommy? Naomi froze. Her daughter's innocent question pierced her heart. No, Naomi said firmly, hugging her tightly. You already have a mother. But deep inside, Naomi felt fear, because she knew something. Danielle did not come back by accident. Late that night, Eleanor sat in her private study with Danielle. The room smelled of expensive perfume and old books. Danielle sat across from her, holding a glass of wine. So, Danielle said, why did you really bring me here? Eleanor looked at her calmly. Because Marcus made the wrong choice, she said. Danielle raised an eyebrow. He is married. Yes, Eleanor said. But marriages can end. Danielle paused. Are you asking me to break his family? She asked quietly. Eleanor leaned forward. I am asking you to reclaim what should have been yours, she said. Danielle looked away. Marcus has children, she said. Eleanor's eyes darkened. Those children, she said slowly, should never have existed in my family. Danielle felt uneasy. For the first time, she realized something. Eleanor's hatred was deeper than jealousy. It was something else. Something dangerous. The next morning, Naomi drove the children to school. Her mind was heavy. When she returned home, she found Danielle sitting alone in the living room. Eleanor was nowhere around. Good morning, Danielle said politely. Naomi nodded. Good morning. Silence followed. Then Danielle spoke. You have a beautiful family, she said. Naomi looked at her carefully. Thank you, she replied. Danielle hesitated. Marcus and I were once engaged, she said suddenly. Naomi's heart skipped. I know, Naomi said calmly. Danielle smiled faintly. If things had gone differently, she said softly, those children might have been mine. Naomi's eyes hardened. But they are not, she said firmly. Danielle looked at her for a moment. Then she stood up. I hope we can be friends, she said. Naomi watched her walk away. Inside her chest, anger and fear mixed together. She understood something clearly now. This was not just Eleanor's war. Danielle had joined it. And the real battle had just begun. The next episode will be more intriguing and captivating than ever. Naomi is about to face enemies she never expected. What did Marcus do after his mother's shocking actions? The truth will surprise you. Stay tuned to find out. Don't forget to subscribe to Mirror Wealth Stories. Like, comment, share, and turn on your notification bell so you never miss any of our stories.